Make it to Midnight Squad. Welcome back for another episode. This is episode 16, which is crazy because time is flying. Pretty soon we're going to be at episode 25, which means we're a fourth of the way to episode 100. And yes, we're going to be back weekly. And if you listened last week, first off, I'm your host, JP Hovey. For anybody new here, I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm 29 years old. I'm not a millionaire. I don't own a business. I don't have a lot of these things that a lot of the other people in this space have, but I'm working towards it, and I admire those people a lot. And Make It to Midnight is all about helping people make it to the next 24 hours through encouragement, motivation, inspiration, whatever it may be. So thanks for being here. And today we're going to talk about the book of the year, in my opinion. In my own life, this book has come out before this past year, but Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you can get it, do it. I promise you it will change. I'm not good at habits. I'm not good at building habits. I'm not good at keeping habits because I think I always set the bar too high up until I start reading this book. No, I'm not paid to say this about this book. I wish I was paid. If you know James Clear, tell him I'm very, very willing to be paid to promote this book for him. But Atomic Habits, tiny changes equals remarkable results. It's everything, man. I've already implemented it into my daily life, and it has. I've seen the benefits of it. So today, it's a long book, but I'm just going to break down some of the things that stuck out the most to me. We're going to break down the second law, which is making your habits attractive. Then we're going to talk about the 2-minute rule. I love the 2-minute rule. It's a great starter for how to begin building your habits. We're going to talk about the importance of automating good habits and eliminating bad habits. Similar to so many things in your life, you automate a paycheck when it comes in, where it goes, so you're not spending all these things. We'll get into all of that. Arguably my favorite one, choosing the right competitions, identifying your talents, choosing the right path to go down, and it will make building habits easier the better you are at the task that you are trying to complete. We're going to talk about 4 questions to figure out what habits to narrow in on and how they will be satisfying to you based off your skill set. And then finally, we're going to talk about keeping your identity soft. Never put your identity fully in your job, fully in one aspect of your life. Don't put your identity in, hey, I'm a CEO of a company. Put your identity in what it takes to be a CEO, not just the CEO. So if you're new here, we like to start it off with a little quote, and that quote comes from this book, and it's this: success is not a goal to reach or a finish line to cross. It is a system to improve and an endless process to refine. You are not the problem. Your system is the problem. So hopefully this episode will help you improve your system in building habits, sticking to habits, and everything that has to do with habit making, habit building. So here we go. This is the second law that he talks about in his book, and it is about making the habit attractive. The more attractive the habit, the more likely you are to do it. So what can we do to make it attractive? What are some easy steps we can take? He gives you these 3 things. We tend to imitate 3 groups in particular when it comes to the habits in our own lives. We imitate the close, the many, and the powerful. So who's the close? The close is it could be our friends, the people that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis. And if you don't believe that we imitate them, catch yourself the next time you're talking to a coworker. Look at his or her body language and then look at your body language. You're probably imitating exactly what they're doing. If you're in a friend group where everybody works out in the morning and they're big on fitness, or my friends here, they love, and I'm an exception to this one because I hate running, but most of my friend group, they love running. They love long distance stuff. They love doing ultra marathons. So they all train together. They all wake up early. They all get it done. They set their priorities in the other parts of their life so that they can make this happen. So all of their habits are wake up early, eat clean, and get your work done so we can go have fun and do this thing that we like to do. The best example I could give to you of how important the close is, because these are the people that you're going to be interacting with. Your circle, what they say, your network is your net worth. And that's exactly what this is. And you want to have the habits of these successful people, and the better your group is, the better you are going to be. And so he talks about joining a culture. This is what you got to do. Join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. So for me, when I was this, I'm trying to think of the best way to give this example. A group that I admire of what is their normal behavior is is professional MMA fighters. They could be UFC, they could be not UFC, they could be amateur, any of it. Because this is their day. They wake up, you got to wake up early, you got to get a good breakfast in because you're about to burn thousands of calories at practice, whether it's wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, any of it. It's a sweat house at these gyms. So you got to eat, you got to wake up early, eat solid. Then you go work out for 2 hours. Then you go recover for however long it takes you to recover. You eat another nutritious meal. You go train again, and then you're in bed early after a good dinner, and then you're back at it again the next day. But the part that sticks out the most about these guys, yes, it's a healthy lifestyle. You're exercising, and it is different than a lot of us because we're not training to be fighters, so workouts are not built in. But the consistency is what we need to emulate. When I was doing videography down at the gym, I want to show up. One, I want to be in shape if I'm around all these people in shape. And two, I'm around people that are literally bleeding blood, sweat, tears for their dream. And the closer I was to them, the more it was impacting me in my life. And it is a huge reason why I was able to land the job that I have now. Upgrade the close. Join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. So the next two groups is where it can get a little tricky. We're going to talk about the many and then how we imitate the powerful. So the many, think about how easy it is to imitate the many. In our day-to-day lives, we do this all the time. You want to go to a restaurant, you go to the Yelp reviews, you see what everybody else is rating it, and then you make your decision based off of their reviews. Same thing with movies. Same thing with so many things. You look at politics. If you align more right or left, you're going to turn on Fox News and you're going to hear what they have to say and you're going to fall back into it. And it's key not to fall in with the many, because if you are trying to live a successful life, and again, I cannot stress this enough in this show, I got to double down, triple down, quadruple down. Success varies to everyone. For me, my definition of success is just as much freedom of my schedule that I can have. Do I have that right now? No. But that's what I'm hoping for. The successful people that I look up to are the ones that have the free time when they want the free time. They all work hard. That's another consistent thing about them. But the biggest thing I want to be able to dictate my schedule however I want to dictate it. But you cannot fall into this many trap, because so many of these people do not live lives. They do not live a life that you want to live. It's the age-old saying of, why would you ask somebody the opinion? Why would you ask for someone's opinion who's living a life completely opposite of what you're trying to live? However that quote goes. That's the many. And when you don't have a system, right? We talked about systems earlier. System is everything when it comes to your definition of success. If you have a strong system, you're going to have a pretty good case for yourself to become successful. When you don't have a strong system, this is when you turn to the many. You turn to the reviews. You turn to social media. Social media is a perfect example. You see everybody out here posting from whatever beach, whatever country, and all of a sudden now you want to go do it, when it might not even align with anything that you believe. It might not align with your system, but more likely than not, if you're following the many, you do not have a system. And when changing your habits means challenging the tribe, change is unattractive. When changing your habits means fitting in with the tribe, change is attractive. So this goes back to number one, because it's too easy to get caught up in and not wanting to challenge the tribe, not wanting to challenge the masses, because you feel soloed out. You're an outlier. Nobody likes feeling like an outlier. But if you fix that tribe, then everything becomes more attractive, because you want to be like those people, like the MMA fighters. If you're an MMA fighter, you're going to show up to the gym every day and want to put your best foot forward, because if you don't, you're going to get punched in the face. And that's where we luck out in our life, is we are not going to get punched in the face. Now, figuratively, I guess we could, or metaphorically we could, because our life will be a punch in the face if we don't improve our system, surround ourselves with the right people, and all of that. The next one, and this is a good one to actually fall in line with, and that's imitating the powerful. Once we fit in, we look for ways to stand out. Job titles, status, raises, acknowledgement. It's the reason that Atomic Habits is successful because we see it, tiny changes, remarkable results. And it says an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. So we've identified James Clear as a successful person. I have, at least. And now I want, oh man, what's his trick? What's his secret? After reading the book, he's definitely somebody I look up to. Other guys I look up to could be the Tim Tebow's, Denzel Washingtons of the world. And I watch how they carry themselves. I want to emulate them as well. Everyone wants to know the secret to becoming the successful one. In work, you copy the top dog in your industry. In your friend group, you look for the approval of the person that is the natural leader of that friend group. Now, it's important to identify power correctly because nowadays there's tons of smoke and mirrors on Instagram with everybody selling courses, selling you all these different products on all the get-rich-quick schemes, which is what I love about this book. None of it is about the instant gratification, which we can get into in a little bit, but they actually have this book has some of my favorite things about instant gratification. But identify the strong leaders, the powerful leaders, and they are useful people to imitate your life after because they are living that life that you're looking for. So who are the three groups? There's two that you want to imitate if one's good, and then the other one, stay out of it. Imitate the close if your circle is good. Join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. Then there's the many. That's the masses. If you want to stand out, do not follow the many. And the third one, imitating the powerful, and make sure you identify power correctly. Remember, power is not money. That'll be my rule to you guys. If you're looking at the people in power, do not latch on to the people that are obsessed with money and telling you how to get rich all the time. Next, the 2-minute rule. This is great for building habits. And this is something I struggle with in my life because every single year at New Year's, I want to start journaling more. I want to start writing more. This show has actually helped me a lot because I'm forced to write when I'm trying to prepare for the show, which I'm still even preparing for the show has been a lot harder than I thought it would be, to write things down and then be able to speak them back out, fluid, the whole thing. So this show has been great practice for me. So thanks for you guys for listening and being there as you see me try to become a better habit maker, stick to these habits, better writer. But this is the 2-minute rule. If you're struggling to set up a habit like me, my example will be journaling. Every year I want to journal. Start out hot, but every single time I start writing too much, I get overwhelmed, or I get to the next day and I'm like, man, I don't want to write. I got nothing to write about. And then you skip it and it never lasts. The 2-minute rule changes everything. And it sounds like a hack, but it works. So I don't know what to tell you. So for me, if I want to get better at writing, I need to set a timer for 2 minutes every day and write for those 2 minutes. It doesn't matter how long or how short I'm writing, as long as I'm doing it for the 2 minutes. If you want to start running and getting in shape, the best place to start, 2-minute drill, go run for 2 minutes. If you want to start lifting weights more, go to the gym for 2 minutes. It sounds dumb, yes, because who is going to go to the gym for 2 minutes and then leave? But if you're not going to the gym, is going for those 2 minutes better than not going at all? Because guess what happens? When you go out there to run for 2 minutes, or when you go to the gym for 2 minutes, you're most likely going to be like, why would I stop? I'm already out here. Let's go ahead and get this over with. And this goes into another thing of making your habits attractive, like we're talking about his second law. If you make the running attractive, it's like, yeah, I can knock out 5 minutes of running, but I probably can't knock out 45 minutes of running when I start out. But so much of it is just getting there. And one of the key tips in the book that I also love, because this is a problem I was running into when I was writing, is to stay below the point where it feels like work. If you're journaling, stop when you feel like you're stretching it thin. And this gave me some validation because Ernest Hemingway, obviously one of the greatest authors, poets, whatever, of all time in literature, we all learned about him as a kid. He says, the best way is to always stop when you are going good, because you want to have that feeling when you finish the task, when you finish your habit, that, oh, this felt good. I'm glad I did it. And now I can't wait to do it again. Where if you go past that and you get to the point like I'm getting to with writing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't think of anything to say. I just need to finish this so I can say I did it. Then you're more likely than not, you won't be able to build that habit for the long term. But another question to ask yourself is, when you wake up in the morning, you ask yourself, today, what person did I cast a vote for? Did I cast a vote for the person that I want to be in the future, that I say I'm going to be? Or did I cast a vote to be somebody else? We don't look at change this way because we are consumed by the end goal. 2 minutes is better than 0. I don't know why I read that just then. It was on my sheet, but I meant to read that later on. But back to the voting thing. Every single day, I like to picture it as like legitimately casting a vote. And I think at the end of the day, a great thing to do is to create 2 jars or 2 something where at the end of the day, you look back on everything that you did that day, and then you drop in whatever you want to do, a coin, dollar, sheet of paper, red paper, green paper, into the jar that says, one jar says the person I want to become, the person I'm striving to be. The other jar says the person that's not. I don't know what the other jar says. You come up with that yourself. Next one, automating good habits and eliminating bad habits. And it's hard because bad habits equals immediate pleasure but long-term loss. Good habits equals short-term loss but long-term pleasure. The costs of your good habits are in the present. The costs of your bad habits are in the future. There is a lot less competition on the road of delayed gratification, which should give you that much more motivation to go down that road of delayed gratification. Some of the solutions to set these goals to make them more attractive, like we've been talking about, is to create some sort of immediate reward that you can get from instilling this good habit. So they talk about saving money, where, okay, instead of going out to buy coffee this morning and spending the $6, I take the $6 and I start saving for this new jacket I want. So you get to see it tangibly. Okay, $6 in the jar today. If you get coffee every week, $30 in the jar a week. You start seeing what you're working towards, and it can help you. But ultimately, it's this, right? The incentives will only get you so far. Incentives start a habit, but identity sustains a habit, because there will come a time where you get the intrinsic rewards, and that's what you will be seeking. You'll be seeking the better mood. You'll have more energy, reduce stress, and the ultimate reward, more than anything out there, is the identity that you are starting to align with. It's the reinforcer, because it feels good to be you, so you do it more. And when you are confident in you and you are feeling good about all the different things that you have instilled in your life of being the optimal person, of waking up early, exercise, hard work, work on the side hustle, all of those things, we're all looking for meaning, and those things give us meaning, and that identity is what keeps us going. So incentives start a habit, identity sustains it. Now, this is my favorite one on how to stay away from the bad habits, and that is to make it immensely unsatisfying. So James Clear talks about these things called habit contracts, where you make sure there's a punishment. And the real life example he gives is in 1984, 14% of people wore seatbelts. Now in 2016, 88% of people wear them. Obviously, what do? You start getting fines if you do not wear the seatbelt. And the seatbelts are for everyone's safety. But it wasn't until that people did that, they created that contract of, hey, if you break the contract, if you break the law, it's exactly what every single country does with our laws, and it's why we trust our lawmakers to do these things. But the pain that you could feel from it makes it worth not even doing to begin with. So also in the book, which I thought was funny, this is definitely like a rich person thing for James Clear, but or maybe it was him or some other guy in Nashville, actually, which is where I am. He was talking about how he tells his trainer, hey, if I do not count my macros today, then I have to give you $200 and you can spend it however you want to spend it. And so, he misses a day, he has to give $200. $200 a thing. People were calling him extreme. Why are you doing it like this? He had different habit contracts with his trainer, his assistant, and his wife, and everyone's like, dude, you're going overboard. And he was like, that's what it takes. It takes what it takes. And the higher the stakes, the less likely you are to do it. It's just like the seatbelt thing. You don't want to pay $1,000 fine, so you do the thing anyways, even if it is annoying. Because look, like they're talking about before, right? Instant gratification. Bad habits equals immediate pleasure, long-term loss. Good habits, short-term loss, long-term pleasure. So love inverting the fourth law. Make these habits unsatisfying. Make sure there's consequence at the end of it. Now, this part might be my favorite part, and I know we're running short on time now, but this is a life hack for people in high school, college. It's kind of an obvious one, but I was just never made obvious to me in high school or college, and I think it would have benefited me in the trajectory of my career. And it's choosing the right competitions. Choosing the right competition. Habits are easier to form when they align with what you're good at. The strength of genetics is also their weakness. They give you a huge advantage in favorable circumstances and disadvantage in unfavorable circumstances. This means your personality influences your habits. I love this because I do like writing is something I enjoy, and it's a skill of mine. I think I'm a decent writer. So I'm going to have a lot easier time, even though it's been tough for me in the past, but I'm going to have a lot easier time sitting down to write for 10 minutes than I am if I was super into math and I need to practice getting better at math. It will take me forever to get good at math. I will not see any rewards for however long it could take. And so identifying the competition and identifying your skill set is going to be what will take you far. And it's to help you identify your skill set is this. There's 4 questions to figure out what habits to narrow in on and what will be satisfying for you. What feels like fun to me but work to others? What makes me lose track of time? Where do I get greater returns than the average person? And what comes naturally to me? The example in the book is awesome. Dilbert, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Dilbert, but it's an iconic like comic strip in newspapers. And Dilbert is this business guy, a little drawing, and there's some humor in every one of Dilbert's comics. And the guy that wrote it, when he was going through what he was good at, he knew he was funny, but he wasn't stand-up comedian level funny. He knew he was good at business, but he's also never going to be a CEO and that type of thing. And he knew he was a good writer, but not a good enough writer to be a poet, to be an author of, technically he's an author, but he's never going to write these long books. But what he he felt he was in the top 25% of all of those things. So now if he makes his competition he's going to be going against people that feel the exact same way, that they're funny, that they're good at business, and they are also good writers. Now that's not a lot of people. So he was able to shrink his competition, hammer in his habits, and now Dilbert has been in the papers, has been a success for 30 semi years. He talks about so many examples in here, and I think, this truly opened my eyes because all of my intangible strengths are going to shrink my competition, and I'm going to be able to, then it comes down to the work. Can you outwork your competition? And the smaller the competition is, the easier it is to kind of pick them off. But I love that. So choose the right competition and then, figure out what you're good at, and everything will start to fall into place, especially the habits. The systems will become more clear. Start with the end goal in mind and work backwards. Now, to wrap it up, we're going to talk about keeping your identity soft. And this is key because this is what everybody gets caught up in right now. It is, if you're meeting somebody for the first time, more likely than not, in the first 30 seconds, you're going to get on to, so what do you do for work? Which is fine. It's normal small talk. But so many people what they do for work is who they are. So you saw, we talked about it last week with the athletes, right? It's Michael Phelps. He was identifying as an Olympic champion and the greatest swimmer of all time. Now he retires. He's none of those things. You look at Steve Jobs when he got fired. Getting fired from Apple the first time was the best thing that ever could have happened to him. But at the end of the day, he felt like he lost who he was. All these people lose who they were, but that's where they get it all wrong, because Your identity is never attached to a job title. Your identity is attached to all of the things it took for you to get to that spot. So who is Michael Phelps? Michael Phelps is hardworking. He's committed. He's dedicated, and he lives a healthy lifestyle. That's who he is. He's not an Olympic champion. He's all of the things that it takes to become an Olympic champion. That's what he carries with him his whole life. So what are the things that you carry with you separate of your job? Your job gets taken away. What are the 5 traits about yourself that you know that you can go to bat for each and every day? And no matter what goes on outside of you, these are the things that make up you. And I think figuring out what that foundation is of yourself will open up so many doors, will open up really the doors to peace. Because when you're searching for all these different things, searching for different status, searching for different paychecks, different acknowledgement, everything, you're going to feel empty because you don't have your 4 to 5 pillars of who you are. Keep learning about yourself the whole way through. And I'll close it with this quote from Lao Tzu. Men are born soft and supple. Dead, they are stiff and hard. Plants are born tender and pliant. Dead, they are brittle and dry. Thus, whoever is stiff and inflexible is a disciple of death. Whoever is soft and yielding is a disciple of life. The hard and stiff will be broken. The soft and supple will prepare. So keep your identity soft if you want to live the life that you say you want to live. Now, we'll close it out with the same quote we talked about earlier. Success is not a goal to reach or a finish line to cross. It is a system to improve, an endless process to refine. You are not the problem. Your system is the problem. So improve your system. Hopefully this episode helped you out and gave you at least a few tips on how to create more sustainable habits, where to find your identity of things, the importance of delayed gratification and walking that path. And what I think most important is identifying the competition after you've figured out what the 4 to 5 strengths that you have, the gifts that you have are, because that will make your life a whole lot easier. So thanks for watching this episode of Make It to Midnight. Thanks for listening. I know I accidentally went a little bit longer this time, but I love this book so much. I could do 8 episodes on it, but you guys got to read it. Atomic Habits by James Clear. You will not regret it. And I will see you guys next week. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, share it with a friend. Let me know the things I could do better or people you think I could listen to that can help me do better. And yes, I hope y'all have a great week. It's Monday, so crush your week. The 2-minute drill. Don't forget the 2-minute drill. Do something for 2 minutes this week to start a new habit. And as always, make it to midnight.